What's going on, everybody? Wanted to do a video on tools I wish I would have never bought. Some of these are going to have different reasons of why, so I'll go into that. So hopefully if you like this kind of content, I do tool reviews, kind of just talk about my journey and my process opening my shop, going from a mechanic to opening my shop, stuff like that. I do funny reels and shorts and all that stuff on YouTube. So if you like that kind of content, please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, comment, give me any ideas that you may have or any suggestions that you may have. I'm happy to do videos on tools or reviews. I have a couple walkthroughs of my toolboxes and updates and such. But in this video, I want to talk about tools I wish I would have never bought. And like I said, that's going to vary depending on what the tool is. So I'll just hop right into it. I'll start with this actually. This is a light holder, supposed to be for a light for a creeper, and the way these jaws work, they do not hold on to anything, at least on the creeper that I have. It's kind of a crappy design, just doesn't fit very well, doesn't hold on. It's basically useless, so I wasted money on that. So this may not be the same for everybody. Somebody else may have a creeper that it works really well on and it works well for them, but I've just not found a good way or a good use of it on my creeper. I need to probably put it somewhere where I'm working on stuff at the table or something and put a light on there and use it that way, I guess. So that's tool number one. There's a reason for these because nowadays cars hardly have spark plug wires, but when I got into the industry, you know, spark plug wires were a little bit more popular at that point in time, but they've slowly died off, obviously. So these literally just sit there. And so now if you're getting into the industry nowadays, you don't really need these. So that's actually why I wish I would never bought them, because I only used them for a very, very short period of time. And even when I did use them, it was extremely rare, like maybe once a month, maybe once every couple months. So not too often. 3, the crank pulley holder for Hondas. I specialize in Hondas and I've worked for Honda for a long time at the dealer. And you can see this is pretty rusted because I don't ever use it. It's got a cobweb in there. So I used it maybe 2 or 3 times and that was it. Once I got weighted sockets, and then now impacts are so strong, battery impacts are so strong, you don't need this anymore because it breaks them all loose. So it's pointless. So it's literally collected dust. I've not used it in years, and I mean probably 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. So it's just sat in the toolbox. So that kind of sucks. Next is the Torch 300 from Snap-on. I get a lot of hate for this one because every time I post this on my social media, people freak out. Listen, I always say buy what you want and buy what works for you. This particular tool has sucked for me. It's not good. I had one, I had to warranty it out because it was trashy. I warrantied it out once or twice. I don't like that it stays on after you shut it off. So if you run it and then you shut it off, it's on low right now, but if you run it and then shut it off after it's been running for a second, it'll actually stay on for a minute afterwards. And I don't like that. Actually, there was a story of a guy that burned his shop down because of that. So that's one of the reasons why I don't like it. It's just, I've just had nothing but problems with this even after I warranted it. I've not really looked for another torch, to be completely honest, little mini torch, but whatever. It gets the job done, but I just wish I wouldn't have bought it. Like I said, people freak out, a ton of people love it, but then there's a bunch of people that also have hated it as well. So I don't know, it's gonna be personal preference there, as all this stuff is. Next is the 14.4 Snap-on drill. Honestly, it's not a bad drill. I have used it a bunch, but it's kind of one of them things. I have an 18-volt Milwaukee drill. I really don't have much use for it. I bought it because I thought, well, you know, you never know. You can't get the big drill in there. I've not really had that issue. I have this as well now. So this, if there's a issue where I don't have the space, I use that. And so this is kind of just pointless now. Once again, you may have this and use it a ton, but it just doesn't have a ton of power. And so anytime I need anything with power and speed, I just grab my 18-volt Milwaukee and that works. So so I love these. I use these double box end wrenches all the time. So I originally had the Cornwall version. Well, then I moved dealerships, and the Cornwall dealer wouldn't warranty them out for me for some apparent reason. I have no idea. They were technically Mountain brand, but they were what Cornwall had. And he wouldn't warranty them out for me. So, and he was a terrible dealer. So then I was like, screw it. I had a good Matco dealer. So I said, I'll just sell my Cornwall ones, buy my Matco ones. Well, the issue is I broke my 1719 once already, warrantied it out. Now this pen that holds the head on keeps falling out. So that's 2 times as broke. I did buy a backup, but for the price of these, I would just go buy Icon ones from Harbor Freight and not worry about it. So I'm not gonna warranty this out again, or if I do, I'm just gonna warranty it out and sell it, and just sell what I have and just buy the Icon ones because I don't have a Matco dealer anymore. But I just regret buying them because they've not been good as far as reliability. They've broken a lot. And I assume because it's Matco, they're made by somebody else. So I don't know if they're made by the same company that everybody makes. I don't know. But that's the only downfall I've had. So that's why I have to have 2 of these, because I use it so much on timing belt jobs and Hondas that I hated going without one. So I bought a backup, and I feel like I'm using the backup all the time. All right, so this is kind of just an oddity. I worked at an independent shop for 4 months. Well, I worked at one for 2 years when I first got in the industry. Then I went to the dealership afterwards, and then in between when I left that dealership and coming back into the automotive field, I went to a shop for 4 months. It was a horrible experience, but I bought this. It's a Volkswagen timing kit holder. I've literally never used it. For some apparent reason, I thought I was gonna need it. I don't work on Volkswagens. I have no desire to work on Volkswagens. I have no desire to work on any European cars. And I've literally never used it. It's just sat in this box. Don't know what to do with it because I don't know many Euro guys. So whatever. Last but not least, the Maddox slide hammer and puller set from Harbor Freight. An absolute pile of trash. At least, now I'm gonna preface that by saying at least here in the Rust Belt. I'm in Ohio. Anytime there's anything that's rusted out that won't come loose, this thing ends up being worthless. It's not strong enough to actually break anything loose. I gotta get the air hammer out anyways. So I've not had any success with it whatsoever, nothing. I've tried to use the jaws on other stuff and they always come loose. I'll crank them down, tighten them. The only time I've ever gotten it to work was when I was on the inside of something with the jaws, and that was a nightmare in itself. It's just clunky. I just don't like it. Worthless, literally worthless. I've not used it where it actually felt like it was a success. Once again, these are my personal opinions, my personal experiences, preferences, whatever you want to say it. If I buy another one of these, which I probably will, they make like actual real nice beefy ones that you can add weights. I think the Practical Mechanic has one. I saw him use one time and it looks really, really good because he does a ton of Subarus, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he does. And so I'd probably buy that one that's actually has some weight behind it that you can actually use to break stuff loose. This is not it for me. So anyways, as of right now, that's it. That's my tools I regret buying. Like I said, they all kind of have their own particular reasons of why. Some of them because of the tool, some of them is just personal experience or what I'm working on now. Ever since I started my own shop, I specialize in Hondas. So a lot of my tools are catered toward Honda. So obviously like the Volkswagen thing's pointless. And this I ended up finding out was worthless because I'm in the Rust Belt. I thought it was gonna at least, jar some stuff loose for me. No, hasn't at all. So appreciate it. Take it easy. Have a good one.